Hey, my name is Shadowsense, and you're watching Vampire the Masquerade, Shadows of New York. We just went out to the club, fed on the purple-haired girl from the first game because the protagonist from the first game didn't show up to feed on her when he was supposed to, probably because he's fucking dead. So, the opportunity presented itself, and we took it. Can't blame us for that. So, onward. Could it be Woods? Our previous colleague in investigative journalism? Or should we go meet with Samira? Samira seems chill, so I'm gonna go meet with Samira. A clean-cut staff member dressed in an impeccable company uniform smiles at me as the elevator door opens. Good evening, ma'am. Meeting someone? I dismiss his question with an apathetic shrug. He sizes me up for a brief moment, visibly questioning my fashion sense. However, his professional acumen quickly trumps his discontent. Very well. This way, please. NYC's nouveau riche seems awfully hungry for gourmet soup this late at night. The patrician is packed almost to the brim. The concierge points me over to the last vacant table, conveniently situated in the far-off corner of the main hall. I nestle in the chair, letting my elbows rest on the ornate tablecloth. Watch out, oblivious white collars. There's a black widow in your midst. Well, I'm here. Might as well kick back and die of boredom. Yeah. I really, really need something to occupy my mind. As I'm waiting, I rack my brain for any idea why the Banu Hakim Primogen wanted me here tonight instead of out there working my case. The obvious possibility, and the one I'm counting on, is that she has some sort of lead that she wasn't comfortable sharing at Elysium. I'm almost certain that that's a false hope, though. This whole investigation still feels like a joke being told at my expense. While I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this, somebody finally takes notice of me. The concierge quickly closes in on me, dancing habitually between tables, and addresses me before I can utter a single word. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you Miss Sawinski by chance? As soon as I nod, he hands me a carefully folded memo and leaves. The note reads, "The manager of this establishment insulted the Camarillah's authority with his negligence. Even though it's minor, his transgression must be penalized. I would like you to assist me in this matter. Such a display of goodwill on your part would surely improve your standing with the higher-ups. Choose an appropriate, non-lethal punishment. S." Well, this is disappointing. It was a high order to expect any help from the investigation, I guess. Instead, just another chore. The best I can hope for is that this really is just a friendly request and not a deliberate attempt to derail my work this early in the game. Damn it. Might as well get it done since I'm already here so I can move on with more pressing stuff. I swiftly approach the manager and tap him on the shoulder. He furrows his brow as soon as he notices me. I'm afraid I'm busy. One of the waiting staff should be able to... We have something to discuss. VIP lounge. Now, if you please. His face loses color. Maybe it has dawned on him that I'm even paler than the other more blue-blooded guests. He immediately becomes compliant as I escort him through a side door. The room isn't empty, but its guests are just leaving. Nobody pays me any attention. The manager is as polite as he can be as he sees the patrons out, but I can see he's clearly losing his shit. He quietly asks one of his staff to give him 5 minutes in the lounge and gingerly closes the door behind him. Then the pleading starts. Listen, I know I screwed up. I shouldn't have let him in. How could I know he's not one of the proper clients? I don't give a... Listen, hey. I would never. I implore you. I have children, for Christ's sake. There must be something, an arrangement, a way to... It just goes on as if I'm not even here. With each subsequent whimper, it becomes more and more irritating. Just shut up for one goddamn second. My outburst finally makes him hold his tongue. I light up the last cig in my package and take a slow puff, trying to compose myself. I have no use for your explanations and justifications. I don't know what sort of transgression you've committed. I should never let this Sansarik guy in. And truth be told, I don't give a shit. It will never happen again. I swear on my mother's grave. Just... Not that good of a judge of character, but him pleading with his arms out really makes him look like the biblical wayward son swearing to change his ways. I grab his hand in a tight grip, palm up, take a puff to rekindle the burning of the tip of my cigarette. He doesn't fight back. You and I both know that they will want proof that I gave you a lesson you won't forget, so I hope you realize that this is mercy. I put my smoke out in the palm of his hand to the accompaniment of his muffled screams. His eyes become watery, but other than that, he takes it like a champ. If I have to come back to this shithole, the next one will go right here. I look him in the eye and crassly flick his eyelid before taking off. I didn't know that I was capable of this sort of cruelty, but here we are. Karen warned me about something in our bloodline finds sniveling weaklings detestable. Is that what triggered me? But that's a conundrum for another occasion. I did what I was asked, and I've sure as hell wasted enough time here. I should move on. Alright, it's about time I head to see Kadir. Mighty kind of him to arrange a meeting in the place that's most convenient for me. D'Angelo, Hope, Tamika, Agathon. I suppose it's better than nothing, but no evidence? Really? Honestly, it felt as if someone had already cleaned up the most egregious stuff before I arrived. Sounds like the Anarchs. I'll definitely try to check out that place again, but I feel I'd need some sort of expert to accompany me. An advanced investigator who would show me the ropes, someone tall and handsome maybe. One second. Is there a way that I can just like... I'm getting a lot of good thumbnail material, but it's like... I can't just make the UI go away. Yeah, if you don't mind a diplomatic incident, I'll go with you. Any better ideas? Actually, this very note gave me one, but I will need to set it up first, and I'll get back to you on that. You know these people? I've had passing contact with each of them, part and parcel of the job, you know. I suppose. Can you help me out with this? The way I'd tackle it would be, look at one person on the list every night, ask around about them, and see what they know if you manage to meet them. If I manage to meet them? They're not particularly easy to get hold of. Always preferred a little off the grid, but nowadays they're all practically in hiding, if not MIA or dead. Funny coincidence? It's not my job to speculate. In other words, he knows something but is not at liberty to say. Guess I'll find out anyway if I do meet them. And why one each night? Shouldn't I investigate every loose thread until we're satisfied? In a perfect world, you'd have all the time you needed, but this is not the perfect world. They'll try to brute force a solution to the case as soon as possible. I suspect that 4 nights from now, once the celebrations of power are over, they'll ask for your findings and that will be all. Fucked up. To be brutally honest, my focus wouldn't be on solving the murder. Instead, I'd focus on not embarrassing yourself. Fucked up. This is part of why I didn't want you to get involved. You couldn't possibly think that Arturo had you get involved out of the goodness of his heart. The entirety of your investigation is just for show. You were meant to be an unwitting actor. Maybe I really should just call me and be like, you know what? Fuck these condescending ivory tower clowns. I want to work with you. But then again, if I was with the Anarchs, they'd probably delegate even shittier tasks to me. If, and that's a really big if, they didn't think that I was some kind of inside agent in the first place. Better stick to Camarilla. But if they're hell-bent on stabbing me in the back at every opportunity, maybe it's time to think of how I can repay the favor. Play dirty, no matter what Kadir thinks of it. After all, from where I'm standing now, there's no other way but up. Penny for your thoughts. I take a drag from my cigarette. Thoughts, schmatz. I'm angry, what do you expect? Something different from the norm, I suppose. My anger levels are above the norm, I suppose. It's a nasty situation, but not one without a possible good ending in sight. So I hope you can channel that anger into something productive. I could try. Where should I go first? You should go with me. As it happens, I'm the only one out here because I was ordered to drive Aisling to the art hole. And guess the name of her protege. Oh, so that's who Agathon is. Or was. Nobody knows. It's a complicated thing. You'll see. I'm on the clock, so let's get a move on. Vin Diesel rides again. Still not done with this bit? Not while it's still bothering you. Ah, a woman after my own heart, being increasingly annoying with comedic bits. I'm leaving you behind if you don't keep up. As I already told Kadir, and numerous times at that, I have no idea what happened with Agathon. The Broadway Chantry, as part of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, is Aisling's usual hangout place these past few nights. She's in a hurry and not willing to talk. Do you have any idea about its connection to kindred going by the names of Tamika, D'Angelo, and Hope? I don't. I made it a point to keep our relationship strictly professional one and never meddled in his personal affairs. Unless they influence our work, that is. But it only happened one time. Ah yes, the infamous Juno case. Could that Juno case be the reason he's missing? Seriously doubt it, for many reasons. I think the boy's lost his appetite for studying blood magic and set out to do a little soul searching. It was quite rude of him to not give me a proper warning before he departed. Still, this line of work is not particularly favored by folks with perfect grasp of savoir-vivre. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I'm not French. I don't know French, so if that's even a French phrase. I do hope his search will bring him back where he started, begging me to take him back in. The boy is talented, and I did put a lot of time into mentoring him. If he doesn't, well, hey, sirrah, no skin off my back. So you won't even entertain a possibility that he found himself in harm's way? I know an answer to that one. A researcher's mindset. She doesn't think it's worth considering the worst case scenario seriously and just takes things as they come. Precisely. If, for example, climate change scientists didn't operate this way, most would have put a bullet in their own head long ago. That's a cheery thought. I'd like to search the Chantry for Agathon's whereabouts. Our good sheriff already did that long ago. You'd just be wasting your time, and ours for that matter. Didn't you say Helene was waiting for us, Kadir? Give the girl 15 minutes, Aisling. A minimal support for an ongoing investigation. And besides, she has a proclivity for finding things everyone else has overlooked. 10 minutes. And if you attempt to pass this door or that one up there, I can't guarantee you'll walk out of here alive. Thank you very much, High Regent. Just get on with it. My time here is practically up, and I found nothing of use. Seems Agathon was completely dedicated to his work. Even his personal quarters are as barren as it gets. No personal touch whatsoever, nothing I could go by. It's all research. He seems like such a bore. Focus, Julia. What would you do if you were a warlock workaholic? Where would you leave your clues to your whereabouts? What would you do if you found yourself in mortal danger and wanted Dakota to know? It's loose. Was that? Yeah. It was facing this way, huh? I approached a place where I saw the shadowy silhouette appear. It's a brick wall and one of the bricks is loose. Kadir and Aisling are in another room right now, still discussing the party. It's not that bad. You ought to learn how to find the humor in the little things. It's demeaning, Sheriff. That's all there is to it. It's time. I work the brick loose until I can grip it. Then I tug it out as silently as possible, revealing a hole in the wall. Inside there's a book. I browse through it quickly. Agathon's diary. That's a bingo. Your 10 minutes are up. Sorry, your 15 minutes, in fact. Are you done here? If I could just get 5 more minutes, I still feel like I could stumble upon something here if I just look a little more. No way, Julia. Time to go. Fine. I put the brick back and take the diary with me. Did look like Agathon left it so that someone in the Chantry could find it, presumably the High Regent. But my investigation takes priority for now. I bid Kadir and Aisling adieu and start looking for a secluded place to read the diary. This place right here should be secluded enough for me to browse through the diary in peace. I like the revisiting of different locations from the last game. I know it's all New York City, but I like this. Just like, this is just some nameless hotel somewhere. I start quickly skimming the book, singling out sentences and paragraphs that look interesting, trying to get a general idea of what kind of person Agathon was. Or is, I hope. The more I read it, the clearer image of the person becomes. He's been working under the High Regent for 15 years. There's an underlying shame in the way he talks about Tremere magic. He always describes himself as too slow on the uptake, too late to learn something, too much of an amateur. He was really into this. He was really into tying his self-worth to his wisdom. The entries, beginning in 2012, are terrifyingly regular. The handwriting is extraordinarily neat. The author's absolute dedication to his studies is palpable. If there is anything to his unlife besides work, it's his relationships with the three important women he holds dear. The first is his master, Aisling Sturbridge, whom he reveres for her knowledge, stoicism, and willingness to experiment. I was hoping to find some details about her secretive work here, but no dice. Looks like he was willing to risk someone finding all about his inner life, but not anything that could harm her studies. A good pupil, serving a good mentor. I'm jealous. The second is another warlock, his ex-lover Juno, whom he feels guilty about. They had a conflict in which Aisling was involved. Having to choose between the two, he chose Aisling. According to Agathon, there was never real love between him and Juno. First, it was just shared interests, then a growing disconnect, and then ultimately guilt, which made him feel responsible for her. But maybe it's just excuses? He strikes me as the kind of person who spends most of his time inside his head. Doesn't sound like someone you could have a fulfilling romance with. I know what you're doing, Julia, but this is not a rabbit hole you want to get stuck in right now. Keep reading. Anyway. Last but not least, Agathon's mortal grandmother, Sylvia. She is the light in his life and the person who took care of him after his parents died in a ritual murder. Not quite what I expected. Her family used to serve a cruel vampire in Mexico City, and it was retribution for their escape. She was the lead Tremere used... She was the lead Tremere... Let me try that again. She was the lead Tremere used to track him down, actually. He was keeping her alive for a long time, but a few months ago her heart gave up. Agathon blamed his insufficient skills, the kind of man who carries the entire world on his shoulders. Left alone with Aisling, he drowned himself in work and eventually burned out, but it doesn't sound like Sylvia's death was the only event that triggered his depressive spiral. There was some kind of incident back in 2019. He doesn't cite specifics, another thing he was worried about when writing down. It's all vague mentions of a person who made him fly too close to the sun. Whatever happened, it had the same effect as his grandmother's death. New York stopped feeling like a home to him. It became alien, empty, grotesque, his words. I checked the first page. There's a recent photograph of him glued to the inner side of the cover. He's facing away from the camera, only showing his profile, and striking a rather dramatic pose. At first, it seems kind of poserish to me. However, upon closer inspection, it seems like a goodbye photo. The final, melancholic glance he throws in your direction before disappearing for good. There's also a single black feather. No idea what it means. Something's written next to the photograph with a lot of flourish. It looks like a poem? More than annoyed, sad. More than sad, unhappy. More than unhappy, suffering. More than suffering, abandoned. More than abandoned, alone in the world. More than alone, exiled. More than exiled, dead. More than dead, forgotten. The Sedative, 1917 by Marie Laurencin. Looks like he wrote it down recently. It might have resonated with his emotional state over the past few months. Most importantly, it seems to confirm his intent with his diary to me. The general idea seems to be his research will outlive him, so he doesn't even detail it. Still, he wanted some kind of tangible memory of who he was left for posterity. But that's not all. There's still a mystery to be solved. Quite a few pages toward the end are missing, but it doesn't look like they were necessarily removed to redact information. They were torn off in a way that makes it clear the paper wasn't ever used. What's more, the preceding pages are empty as well. Could it be that? That's when it happens again. I notice a bizarre shape in my peripheral vision. Bleed. I turn to catch a glimpse as fast as possible, but it's already gone. If my heart could beat faster right now, it would be jumping out of my chest. It's discomforting. I've been seeing those apparitions ever since I turned into this. The worst part is, I feel that they're always there, even as a mortal. They were there sometimes in the corner of my eyes, disappearing when I try to look directly at them, making me think it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But when you're part of the Night Clan, there are times that they don't disappear. There are times they talk. There are times that they try to force you to do their bidding. And worst of all... No, I don't want to think about it right now. What, did they try possessing you? Is that what you're going to say? Also, I see that shadow in the back. I just saw it on the wall. It was right over here. I saw it. Waiting for it to show up again. Still, there it is. There it is. That's a ghost. Still, in my experience, they aren't exactly, I don't know, consciously malevolent. This one in particular was trying to help. I open the book to the first empty page and look around to make sure nobody's staring. Then I cut myself using a razor I keep in my pocket just in case. It's not a deep slice, I just want to let a droplet of vitae fall onto the page. That's when the letters appear. Look at me, clown. No longer confident that any of my people can be trusted, I turn to a well, I'm not going to say that. A camarilla at that. Reserved contempt. What are you waiting for, boy? Laugh at me, ridicule me. Ridicule is all I deserve. Come on, don't just stand there like an idiot. You want to say something, say it. What the hell? This is the last thing I expected to happen. The diary's haunted. A series of quickly changing sentences and images composed by shadows and blood give me a window into another reality. It's not an objective view. It's like scattered remnants of emotions similar to a half-remembered dream, full of holes, but an honest expression of one's mind. Might it be interacting with me? It's just a hypothesis, but I don't know why else it would show me Callahan. And was that Ellis Island? Right. This time I don't even look in its direction. The voice makes me feel oddly confident about what I need to do. I pick up the feather that was in the diary and dip it in my vitae. Then I write down... Let's write compassion. You may call me whatever names you want. I still pity you, old man. Well, ain't that mighty grand of you? I see what you are. In some ways, compassion from the likes of me is probably the worst gift you could get. Feeling of having hit the jackpot. It doesn't feel like this is the way the events took place, but more like a way to explore Agathon's emotional truth about the way it all unfolded. In any case, the diary is reacting to me, and some shade of the truth is better than nothing. It's a handy tool, and if I use it right, I might find some clues that could aid me in my investigation. There are a few thoughts floating around in my head, like alien entities trying to make their way out. Is that also an effect of the diary's power? Let's try... I'm curious. What is the destiny you see in front of you? There are two paths I see laid out in front of me. The first one is freedom, bought with a horrible price. The second one is utter and complete debasement. But you haven't decided on one of those paths yet. No, but I'm afraid that choice might have already been made for me. God damn it, what are the two of you talking about? Why did you meet? Explain, I guess? I've shared my intel with you. Is there anything you know that I might need to know? You've gotten yourself into a giant mess, boy. You think what you know is bad, you don't know the half of it. But if you want to resist, first off, you're going to have to bite the hand that has been feeding you for so long. Blood running cold. All of the scribblings disappear and another set start taking their place. The diary conjures an image of a completely different place. I instantly get the feeling of deja vu. I process the space differently. The atmosphere is different, more familiar, homely. This is unmistakably the Tremere Chantry I visited earlier tonight. And standing there is just the person I'd expect. Looks like that's it for my meeting with Callahan. God damn it. But what if the person he was talking about and eliciting a strong emotional reaction from was Aisling? The diary awaits my next command. High Regent. Why? Why? You can't be serious. These experiments need resources, and I wouldn't be able to provide all the needed materials in a reasonable time frame all by myself. It's quid pro quo. It's not like my research isn't helping all the kindred in a something run. A gang run? I don't know. I don't feel comfortable being a part of this at all. I always thought we were busy with science, not politics. These are the words of a child, Agathon. Science has always relied on politics, and politics on science. That's true. Not like this, High Regent. Don't embarrass me, Agathon. Not like this. The moving scribblings disappear again. I hastily let another drop of blood fall onto the page. What appears this time is yet another familiar face. Ah, yes. Oh, what the fuck? Am I still recording? Hang on. Okay, that was weird. I just saw my taskbar appear randomly at the bottom of the screen, and then the overlay for NVIDIA Share, the program that I use to record, disappeared. And I got concerned that it stopped recording. Everything should be fine. Hopefully. Yes, Agathon. What is it that you wanted to tell me? You goddamned rat. I beg your pardon? The heartbeat vanishes. Yeah, right. As if I could ever gather the courage to say this to your face. But the least I could do is try and stab you in the back. The diary ends here. I spill a little more vitae on the page, but it no longer works. I suppose that's it. Still no idea of what happened to Agathon. Is he alive? Or is he dead? Maybe Dakota is right. I've been in a glass half-empty buzzkill too often. I'll brace for the worst, but hope for the best. The way he left his diary for someone to carry on his work, the hints he strategically left inside it, he's got all this planned out, no doubt about it. I choose to believe that I will see him again one night. Maybe I'll even compliment that jacket he has. In any case, I think it's time to pay a visit to the art hole. Let me check my trait. Glass half full. Aw! I feel a little better. I know Arturo tends to leave the Elysium quite often to take in some fresh air and message his people on BlackBerry. So I just wait until I see him. The tactic works. He's surprised to see me. Miss Sawinski, shouldn't you be busy with your investigation? I am, actually, which is why I've come to see you. That's peculiar, because I'm absolutely sure I have nothing to do with the case. Aren't you barking up the wrong tree? That's what I'm here to find out. I assumed you'd want to see I'm thorough. Yes, sure, I suppose it's commendable. What is it, then? I have reasons to believe that in the last few months, you, the High Regent Aisling Sturbridge, and her child Agathon were involved in a secretive scheme. His expression changes ever so imperceptibly, but the difference is palpable to me. For the first time ever, he looks at me as a person. Up until now, I was just an amusing diversion. Now I'm something more, and he doesn't like it. What gave you this idea? Not at liberty to say. If you really want to know, ask the sheriff. Of course, Kadir doesn't know anything, but he's the only one in the court that Arturo has repeatedly failed to influence. He'll think twice before approaching him. I fail to see how this matter relates to the task at hand. I have every reason to think Baron Callahan was involved, and that he might have had grounds for fear of his life because of said scheme. He's tense now. Do I have the upper hand? Miss Sawinski, please answer the question. The delicate matter you are speaking of has absolutely nothing to do with Baron Callahan's grim fate. It is strictly a confidential affair. It would be wise of you to stop pursuing it. Be wise of you to fuck off. Got him. I can't be an investigator if I'm not allowed to properly investigate. This matter is unrelated to your work and should be treated as such. I'm 100% convinced Prince Panhard would agree. If you insist on pursuing it further, we can take it up to the prince and see if her stance differs from mine. But I think you aren't as naive as to waste your time this way, and besides, She'd certainly want you to present the basis for your discovery to the court. Could you handle it? I have no response. God damn it, this is his revenge for invoking Kadir, is it? I thought so. Is the High Regent inside? She is, but don't worry. I'll make sure not to tell her not to waste your precious time, Miss Sawinski. So that's how you're gonna play it, you bastard? Well, I guess you win this round. A strategic retreat is my only choice here. I don't have a full deck of cards yet, but just you wait. In a few nights... I'll take my leave then. Yes, do that, and if I may be so blunt, focus on the investigation avenues that aren't utterly imbecilic and suicidal to pursue, miss. I bid you adieu. I curse him out under my breath as he disappears inside the art hole. Guess this avenue is really cut off for me, at least for now. 3 names left on the list. I still have some leads to go by, but for now, it's getting late. I should go to St. Patrick's and file my latest report. When I reach the cathedral, Father Leonard is already there. He's not exactly the most punctual person, so I always feel relieved to see him from afar. Time to move in and move out before I'm noticed by Benoit. Will this be all? I guess so. I rattled off most of it in a hurry on the way here. I'll come up with a more exhaustive report tomorrow night. Busy? Looks that way, Father. Our wayward girl has finally been recognized by her superiors. Here we go again. Of course, he had to sneak up on me. If even you heard about that, I guess that means every single kindred in the 5 boroughs knows. I know you're an expert when it comes to knowing who's saying what and where, but the last time we met, you promised to share that knowledge with me. Yeah, I was kind of lying. That's the 9th commandment broken, Father. Shouldn't you scold her? Don't involve me in your silly games, Benoit. The way you fall for obvious lies stems from your biggest failing in communication. And that is? You only pay attention to the what that's being said and not the how. That's... Booyah, motherfucker, suck it! Annihilated with an absolutely flawless diagnosis. Child, don't make me regret siding with you. I'm sorry, Father. It won't happen again, especially if you promise to keep verbally destroying that clown. You're in a strange mood tonight, child. Go get some sleep. Yes, we'll continue this tomorrow. I'm not showing up here tomorrow. Yes, you are. Stop breaking the 9th commandment. See you around, Julia. He says my name in a sickly sweet way that gives me the creeps. I bow to Father Leonard, do my best to ignore Benoit, and head for Dakota's place. Finally, my haven. Hey. Hey. Another tough night? You don't know the half of it. You want a drink? She points to her neck. I manage to summon a faint smile. I'd love to, but you know we can't do this too often. Maybe tomorrow. You want to talk then? Yeah, guess so. Just not about work, okay? I sit down next to her. Not about work? Got it. What's on your mind then? The past, I guess. Meaning? How spotty our memories are, and how despite that, that's what we build our convictions on? Sorry, it's so banal. I'm just tired and frustrated. Well, let's talk about something more specific then. What do you remember about the time we first met? The time we first met? Yeah. Shit. Not a lot, actually. Those are gloomy, anxious days. I think I subconsciously replaced most of them with blank spaces. I remember you tried to paint your hair black. Ouch, don't dig up my trauma now, okay? I remember that when we first talked, we talked about Hausu. Don't say Hausu, it's low-key racist, I think. Nobody ever knows what you mean by house. Ah, that show with the asshole doctor? No, the Japanese haunted house horror film that feels like it was written by a 7-year-old with ADHD. That's a really good reference. That's really good. In the best way. In the best way, duh. We were arguing which characters from the movie both of us are. You were Kung Fu, and I ended up as prof, which was rude. You're dressed up like a total nerd. Not my fault. What was the deal with that suit? I like that suit. Yeah, it was okay. I remember helping you out with graphic design whenever you needed it. Funny, I remember you needing help with writing as something that tended to happen far more often. Yeah, we developed a fun shared aesthetic with similar surface concerns and it bonded us together before we even made sure we were fully compatible deep down as human beings. Hell, I'm still not sure if we are, especially now with me not being a human being anymore. But hey, at least we both agree that this bedroom feels super comfy. I remember always feeling left out of your social circles. I was knocking at the door from the outside. Oh, forget it. My social circles are full of out-of-touch, snobby assholes. Yeah, but it felt weird how much they avoided me, and there was that one time with Isabella. All of a sudden, one thing Isabella said at one party flashes in my mind with startling clarity. After midnight, in that kitchen without context, she just walked up to me and... She will isolate you, she will suck you dry, and she will move on to the next target. That's the only thing she knows. Ugh, don't remind me of Isabella. She always resented me. It's been so long and it's all baseless conjecture now, but what if she really did isolate me on purpose back then? Nah, glass is half full. Past is Schrodinger's cat and all that. Better to believe the positive version of events. Come to think of it, friend or foe, if you don't believe they're on your side, they will know it one way or the other, and then it's 100% certain they won't be on your side. Maybe optimism really is the way. Yeah, forget Isabella. Isabella? New character drop? Let's go. Yeah, forget Isabella. Let's just drop this talk. I'm frustrated enough. I need a reset. Sounds like a good idea. Off to sleep? Yeah, gotta get ready to go back to hell tomorrow. Alright, I'll get back to work. You're working remotely again? Yeah, my office is going insane for so many reasons, and I'm getting cabin fever too. Get some sun. It'll be good for you. Look who's talking. Good night, sunshine. Good night. The fucking achievement is the Vampire Diary. Wow. Alright, we're gonna rest up. And then we will continue this in the next episode. So, thank you guys so very much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, please consider subscribing. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.